Hello, everybody. Let's give it a couple of minutes more. Hello. So this is like 13th of July, 2022, Delivery Group Weekly for America and EMEA. This is like what we used to have on Monday, but we moved it to today. So we have some more people and we took the chance of moving the other one since Graham is on holiday. So we have some announcement for many people being on holidays and Myra being unavailable today. And you already put Myra in a sync, an update for the remove the blocking nature post-deploy migration. This is like, he's asked me to verbalize it in the meeting, and I add an extra point later on about delivery metrics and GitLab that Alessio already commented in the app, and we can move to that later. So for the removing the blocking nature of post-deployed migration epic, they started the rollout of the post-deploy migration pipeline. The announcement was already sent in the various channels. It was also cross-referenced in the infrastructure lounge, other channels, and there is a video recorded to quick overview of what it's about. So I don't know, I didn't watch it yet. If you have a chance to watch it, feel free to go ahead later. I'm gonna do it probably tonight. As the next steps, we had phase 3, so probably completing the rollout. We are going to observe how it behaves for this week and fix any problem that may surge. There are also some pending issues that we need to finish in order to complete the OKR. These ones are already listed in the agenda today, are already in the delivery board, and I discussed them with Myra yesterday to be sure that we're the right one to be picked. Anyone has any comment or questions about the work that Myra is working on right now? Not that I'm able to answer them, but it's good to verbalize them. And I'll take it as a no. Point B is about the reducing release management toil epic, and we start to try to measure something that is happening in our release management activities. I created 2 epics, one that to start to count the number of manual job retries, and another epic to start to count, to measure the stage duration. So both metrics, one of the main exit criteria is to be able to establish a baseline and try to see if we're able to improve from this baseline on stage duration or like number of job retries. While going through the various topics and everything, I also bumped into something called GitLab Observability Stack. That it might be the rebranding of OpsTrace after the acquisition. It might be something else with extra addition and so on. So for the sake of dog fooding, I just added also an issue there to do a kind of a gap analysis between the 2 products. I still don't have a very good overview of what GitLab Observability Stack does. So I'm not sure if it's something that could make sense or not, but if anyone has some extra background here, please feel free to contribute to the issue over there and add any comment. Alessio, do you want to advise?
Sure. So I was reviewing the issue that you linked, and I couldn't find anything related to GitLab Observability Stack. So the first thing that I did was, okay, so this is coming from OpsTrace, I think, the acquisition of OpsTrace. So let's see how OpsTrace is doing, because probably it's going to be something built on top of that. And in that regard, it really sounds like we're not comparing the same thing. Because so delivery metrics was born as out of the need of not being able to scrape metrics outside of CI jobs because there are batches. And sorry, the solution for that outside of delivery metrics is the push gateway from Prometheus. But then here we had, and this is what we were using. But then we started building metrics based on histograms, and these metrics were just ending up with 0 or 1 at the end of each pipeline. And this was impossible to detect counter reset because basically, so the thing was not working. And so we end up building delivery metrics as it's kind of an API over the regular Prometheus metrics. So if you normally you have a service and you have Prometheus, and then you can do you call functions on it. What we did here is that we have a service that is running, and you can interact with this over REST API, and they have the same meaning of the function call that you can have with the Prometheus library. So unless there is something into the GitLab observability stack that goes on the client side and that address the need of I would say stateless, not even stateless, it's not even running. So batch, collecting metrics on batches, that's not, this is not the same thing. And also, and then I conclude, they were also telling in the ops trace page, they are describing this as something you can put in between Prometheus and I don't know, I don't remember what else. So the idea is that if you are already publishing stuff on Prometheus, then you can put the thing in between.
Okay.
And so it looks like more on the collecting, scraping, and querying side of metrics more than on the application that are just populating those values. But I don't know.
Yeah, I also don't. I found actually a demo video that they published on YouTube just a couple of weeks ago, something that is still not in the product itself. So I'm gonna try to link it now to the agenda of today, so everyone can go through that. So I also didn't find that much around that. I just didn't want to, starting a new effort right now and being sure that we use the right tool for the right job, right? Instead of reinventing the wheel, and dog fooding and something like that should be one of our priorities. But from what you described, I'm quite sure that we, at least not now, they are going to be able to fulfill what we need to do in collecting our metrics. But we can see it later.
Do we have, Alessio, do you know if we have any write-up about the service that you were talking about for collecting metrics? I remember I've reviewed a couple of MRs that touch that code, but when I want to get details about it, it's a little difficult to remember. So I was wondering if there's any docs.
There is a README page in the metrics folder of release tools, but may not be up to date with what we did. It was a description of what we were doing in the first version of it. So when we had just one metric, so maybe it's worth to, yeah, that's the one. Thank you, Michele. So let me quickly check how out of date it is. Well, it kind of explains just the histograms, which were the first thing. And then we later added on this also, there's an extra metrics now that is scraping values from OPS, from the GitLab API on OPS. So no, this is not up to date with what we are doing.
Can someone take an action in updating this?
I can try, yeah.
Thank you, Alessio. Perfect. Anyone else has anything to add on the delivery metrics topic or questions? Then I guess we can move to point 3 in the agenda. That is the various metrics. So release managers, I guess Ahmad right now. Can you walk us through the how to deploy package dashboard?
Yes, I hope my internet can basically sustain this, but let me try. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Let me minimize this stuff. So last week we had a good start. Basically, we had like tagged packages, not promoted, just one throughout the one of the days, then 3, then 1. And this week we have we started already like yesterday by not promoting so much because we had PCL, and today we have like an incident. I think almost 10 hours now. So this week is gonna be bad when we review it. The active coordinated pipelines. Today also we are getting a lot of pipelines, but last week seems normal, I think. And yeah, number of deployments per day, as you can see here, 5 on gprod throughout the week, 5, 4, 5. So I think we had like last week was fine. This week is gonna be affected by the incident and by the PCL, unfortunately. And let me walk you through these charts that I don't know how to explain, to be honest. The deployment frequency, 13 deploys, I think.
You probably want to move this over the last month. It makes more sense. So you have this the deployment frequency. There is last week, okay. So it gives you a better idea of what is happening. Yeah.
All right. So I think we are in the part. Or yeah, it seems normal, I think. And for this also CI/CD and lead time last month. To be honest, I don't know how to interpret these charts yet. But I think they are normal.
So there's a funny thing happening here that was surprising. So we had a PCL last Monday, and while this is clearly visible on the first graph, the one on Prometheus, so because we are shifting everything right, and yeah, your just connection, or maybe mine or your connection is a bit, yeah, here, thank you. So there was a PCL at the beginning, and we also started I don't know what happened, but we started really bad because the day after the PCL, we're just building packagings without promoting anything.
Yeah.
And then we recovered, but this one, I was so it's clearly visible down in the active coordinated pipeline that are just skyrocketing. So we're not able to deploy anything. But then there's no real trace of this into the MTTP, which is the last graph you were looking at. And I'm wondering if this is affected by the family and friends day. Because usually over the weekend, we accumulate stuff from late Friday up until, yeah, basically someone maybe merged something over the weekend, but having family and friends day on Friday and the PCL on Monday, this kind of changed the numbers, because then we look, so usually on Monday, in this case on Tuesday, because Monday was, sorry, Monday was PCL, we have what's the name in the graph? Lead time, I think. We have a high lead time, which is very, it's, yeah, this one. So as you can see, every time we start a week, it's that this point in time, it's very high, but this didn't really happen here. Even though the spread is longer because we had Friday, Family and Friends Day, and PCL on Monday, the value were still kind of aligned, which is funny.
Are you referring to the last Family and Friends Day? Because I think it was Monday. Friday was
It was a
Family
normal
and
day, I
Friends
think.
it was a normal day.
I do remember. No, maybe it's 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Yeah, you're right. There was the 29th.
So the Family and Friends. Yeah, you're right.
Or 24th, remember?
Yeah, the 24th, because it's Saint John, which is a national holiday here in Florence. So so that's the thing. But yeah, so that's funny because we never look at those numbers together, and I was expecting also having a PCL a higher lead time, which it didn't happen. And then a question for release managers, which may not remember what happened, is why on Tuesday we were not able to deploy for basically half a day or even a full day. I don't remember, because we see the package tag going up together with not promoted. So maybe this is as a suggestion, try to annotate things. When weird things happen, try to put a note on this graph, because otherwise we will not remember 1 week after, because this is unusual, right? So it should have, we usually go between 1, 2, 3 wasted packages, but we had 6 at the beginning. So it's kind of, it looks like something like today, right? So we are not deploying. And so we are accumulating the number of packages that we are not going to deploy. So if we don't deploy by the end of the day, we will end up with 6, 7 tagged package and 6, 7 not promoted. Okay.
All right. And because of the incident. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, Alessio.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say about that lead time increasing on Mondays and sometimes not increasing. I wonder if it would be good to track the number of MRs merged in the GitLab repo. Then we could actually see maybe the MRs merged went down because lots of people took Friday off for the long weekend or something like that.
But this is not affected by, I mean, number of merge requests, yes, but the value itself is not affected by people taking the day off, because it counts from merge time. So if they are off, they are not merging, so it will not affect the lead time. Because lead time is from merge to deployed to production, which is probably why it wasn't really that high, because people were not working, and so it just delayed everything. But I mean, I probably will figure this out over time once we get more familiar with the shape of those graphs and trying to figure out how they behave and change together with how we work.
Yeah, I meant it would show us if people are like merging more or merging less. It might not directly affect the value, but it'll give us that information.
Yeah, I don't know if it's one of the other graphs is showing something like this. I don't know. In Sisense, we have the value. Maybe they're just because we see the list of merge requests down in the tables. We never look at them, but there is a list of merge requests. And it's a good point, Ruben.
Thank you. Anything else you want to bring up on the recording?
About the post-deploy pipeline. So once these 3 issues are complete, the OKR is done for.
No, this is are the 3 remaining for phase 2.
The testing. Okay.
Yes. So if you go in the Epic, there is the table in the Epic description. These are the one connected to phase 2. I think there will be still something that will need to be worked on after these 3 are completed. So some parts in phase 3 is still missing.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Anything else in the recording, guys? Then I'm gonna stop the recording.